G'day everyone, it's Jill, also known as GeniAus, ready and raring to go with another Hangout from here. I'm a bit excited today because we've got a truly international panel, and I love international panels. Now today we're going to be concentrating on Geneanews. Just bits and pieces that we may have come across. I've got a little bit of an agenda here, but I'm hoping that some of the people that have joined me on the panel can add to what I've got on my agenda with maybe opinions or new resources or new news, whatever. Now, I live in hope that I'll have more than 10 panellists, but I haven't. But if that ever happens, I might ask someone to retire gracefully so that other people can have a say. Anyhow, I live in hope. Well, firstly, before I go on, the weather here in Sydney today is, the sun's out presently, but it's a bit sort of stormy, so I could lose my internet connection, because when I connected, I got a message that said, your internet connection is unstable, so fingers crossed. If it drops out, these people on the panel I know will just keep talking until I manage to get back on. So let's meet these people who are going to keep the show going when I drop out, as long as I don't drop off, I suppose. That's the main thing. I think we'll go way north to Wales and say hello to Hilary Gadsby. Hilary, would you like to introduce yourself, say a couple of words?
Yeah, my name's...
Or more?
I'm an amateur genealogist. I find I don't always get as much time to do my genealogy as I'd like, because I still work. I'm a regular contributor to Mondays with Mert, so a lot of people might have seen me on there. And I've got a blog called The Edge of Snowdonia, because I live on the edge of Snowdonia, and I've also got one that I've just started recently, discussing mastering genealogy software, which I haven't done a lot on recently, but I'm planning to start doing some video blogging at some point. So it'll be a case of watching the space when I start up with
Okay.
that. So.
You've written some software as well, haven't you?
No, I haven't written any software.
No, it's not written it. It's how to use it.
Yeah, I was trying to discuss how we use in different programs and that. The
okay.
software that I use on my computer for my genealogy.
Okay, right, okay, lovely. Well, we'll move down south of the equator and say hello, Michelle.
Hello. My name's Michelle.
Something.
I'm based in Stockton, which is in Newcastle, just north of Sydney. My main focus at the moment is a split between doing my family history and also doing some local history for the Stockton Historical Society. So we're having a bit of a focus on World War I at the moment. We were given a photo frame with 18 photos in it, and we have absolutely no idea who any of those men are. And so we've been going back to basics and trying to identify the men. We've identified 4 people so far, and I think one of the interesting things that's thrown up is that 2 of the 4 were actually not born in Australia. There's a Welshman and an Englishman. So it's an interesting thing to keep in mind if you are studying World War I or researching any soldiers, to perhaps look outside the army that you thought they might be in, especially for the British soldiers, because I've noticed that there's a huge number of British men who actually served in the AIF, Australian Imperial Force. So if you can't find them in England, have a look in Australia or New Zealand. You never know where you might find them.
Fantastic. Thanks for reminding me about World War I things. There's actually something that else I need to share with people, something local. So, border hopping again, or equator hopping. We're up in Illinois, I believe, Sandy.
Yes, and I am here, and I've been working on discovering my family who came from Switzerland. And I know some of my Irish cousins have definitely had to go to Australia. They were the Plunketts, and they've been in Ireland since time began. And I know some of them did get to Australia. So that is what I've been working on. I have found a lot of DNA matches in Switzerland, Germany, and the Great Britain. So that's what I've been working on this past 2 weeks.
Oh, just you're there before we. This is an action, but I have things off the top of my head. Use for your DNA testing.
I did it through Family Tree and also Ancestry, both of them.
Okay, so you've got to put in both camps. Okay. Oh, that's great. Now, I've got my little bit of an agenda here, and one of the things I was going to share with people, I'm sure lots of people have found this already, but were the civil registration indexes for Ireland that have recently become available. I don't know if any of you have used them. Has anyone used them already?
No, not I.
Yes? No? No, not I. I'm going to share my screen. I inherited a family tree about 6 or 7 years ago from an elderly cousin of my dad's, and she knew all these descendants in Ireland because she knew them. She'd met them personally. So she gave me a tree with absolutely no sources on it. So I was delighted when these indexes became available, these civil records here that go right up to date, that I was able to use them, and I'm just clicking on the wrong spot, I was able to use them to confirm the dates that she gave me. So this is the site. It's through Irish Genealogy, genealogy.ie, and one just selects civil records, and you've got to actually agree to some mumbo jumbo, which I always just do. And there, for all to see, I'd got to tick the box, silly me. There for everyone to search are records of births, deaths and marriages right up to 2013, from 2019. There's a simple search, or there is advanced search. I really like the advanced search because you can put in the middle names. You can search for birth, marriage and death once, or you just event to look for. So I'm not an expert on this. I just spent about 4 or 5 hours confirming birth dates and places, because they give quite a bit of information on some of them. If they actually give the exact date, not just the year. This is index that for any money. And another thing I really liked is my aunt married an Irishman called Ed, and his name was Corbett, and I knew that he had a sister Bernie and a brother Joe and a brother Frank and whatnot. I didn't know their full names. I had an idea of when they were born, so I actually just did a search by putting Corbett here into the last name box.
Jill, what year range does that index go for?
Well, this particular index goes from 1900 to 2013. Tough luck about privacy. There's no privacy. It's all in the public domain by the looks. But what was really nice was I knew that Uncle Ed's mother's maiden name was Heir. And I knew that the parents were married in 1916, so I just selected from 1916, and I thought, oh, well, she might have been producing babies in Ireland until about 1940, and I searched, And tra-la-la, I hope it works as it did the other day. Oh, God. 5150, I love capture. Tra-la-la. Is it going to happen? Yep, there we go. There are Uncle Ed's siblings. I know they are. So how about that? So it tells me, if I click on here, it tells me the date he was born. And it gives you the district, so I knew the district was right. They lived in Dublin. The mother's name, how about that? And similarly for marriages, I was able to, where I knew that they had a wife called whatever, I did searches for that. So there you go. Civil records for Ireland. There are some for the for Northern Ireland as well in this database, but I was only going to talk about the 1900s ones. I think they're brilliant because that was Frank. This one here was Jim. This one here was actually Bernie. They called her Bernie. And there's one here that's no, they're all the family. So there you go. How's that? So has anyone else tried that? Deafening silence? No. So that's a beaut new resource. And I also followed on another line of mine that I've got. You know, I've got their names from the 1911 census, and I did a bit of hunting around to see what I could find on them. So that was something rather good. Would certainly help me find some Irish cousins and that. So if I go over again, I'll be able to track down a few of these people, hopefully. Yeah, so that's that. So my other births, deaths and marriages thing that hasn't got an international flavour at all is, I don't know if Michelle's used it, the new Lifelink. Have you had a look at Lifelink, Michelle?
I've had
the New South Wales. Yeah, I did a little hangout on this just recently because I was a bit disappointed. Oh, my screen share's just... Oh, wasn't my screen share working, Sandy?
No, all we can see is your avatar. Or me, anyway.
Bother.
How's everybody else?
No, I couldn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you couldn't see it. Hillary, could you see it?
No. All I can see is
well,
your
that was a bit of a dead loss.
Yeah.
It's my
You were describing it good.
Well, let me tell you the URL so that I'll just get it back up. It's Irish. We are going to need to go back a screen or two. And the best laid plans of mice and men. I'm just going right back to the home site. It's irishgenealogy.ie. And from there, you just choose from the menu bar Civil Records. So, and there's a lovely welcome message from the Minister of the Arts and, saying how good he is and how wonderful they are, but go for it in your own time, and it's a brilliant new resource. Well, maybe the next one that I intended showing won't show either. It's the new Lifelink from New South Wales, which is our home state in Australia. Michelle and I both live in New South Wales. And the easiest way to find it is just do BDM New South Wales and you'll come up with the site, because Sandy and Hillary, in Australia we don't do BMD, we do BDM. Hillary, in the UK, do you do BDM or BMD? Do you say? You say births, deaths and marriages, or births, marriages and deaths?
I think it's BMD.
I know in the United States, in the United States they say BMD, but we say BDM because we're a bit different. We've been promised this wonderful new online extravaganza for searching, and unfortunately the registry launched it before they were quite ready. They promised that there would be online ordering and you'd be able to order a PDF and straight away get your records. But unfortunately, that facility is only available for, I'd say, about 1 in 10,000 records. It's not available for very many at all. So, but it's there, and the URL, the full URL. If you type in the URL, that's at the top of the search screen. You actually get asked to log in. Well, people can't log in because we haven't got login, so that's another issue. But the good thing is, in the search, there is a wildcard search. So if you don't know the name of a bride, or someone's forename, or someone's surname even, you can just put an asterisk in and do a wildcard search. We didn't have that facility before, so it's a bit of an improvement. Now, Michelle, can I put you on the spot? Have you had a look at it at all?
No, I haven't, but I have been reading everyone's comments. I'm a little bit spoiled because most of my family that I've been researching is actually from Victoria, where there is instant gratification available.
They can get their money quickly.
They can get a lot of your money very quickly because you can get instant birth, deaths and marriage historical certificates. So it's sort of like the adult version of chocolates at the cash register, because it's very tempting when you don't have to wait 6 to 8 weeks to get a certificate if you just hand over your money straight away. So I haven't tried the New South Wales one, but I know that there was that initial hiccup when it first launched, that people weren't finding a lot of things they knew were there because of the lack of the wild card. So I think we have to at least give them points for putting that feature back in pretty quickly.
I think that's good, yeah. But
probably shouldn't have taken it out in the first place, but no, I haven't used it, but I haven't been doing much research over the last couple of months, but I'll be getting into it again soon, so I probably will have to play with it in the next couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah, sorry to put you on the spot, but
no,
I'm just I'm just a little bit frustrated with it. I thought, why don't they do some beta testing before they put something out? Because it was fraught with all these issues. Or hang off for another couple of months and put out a product that's mature rather than something that needs lots of tweaking. Anyway, we've got the wild card. Yep.
Yeah, I think they timed it pretty well after the other genealogy company that had a launch of a new system that didn't go down quite so well. So from, I think, lack of beta testing as well.
Yeah, probably, yeah. All right, now I'm moving on through my thing, and I'm staying local for the minute. You've probably got something to say about this, Michelle, I don't know. Next month is National Family History Month in Australia. It's a celebration that we've had for about 8 years. It started off as just a week in, I think, around 2006. And then last year it got extended to a month. And so all around Australia, I'll try a screen share again in a minute, societies, libraries, family search are having events, and they're listed on the calendar on the National Family History site. Now, Michelle, you're involved in a society. I'm wondering if your society is doing anything.
Not at the moment. It's more.
Yeah.
Our society is an historical society.
History, I know that. Yeah.
But we do have a family history group again. But our group is very small. Our entire group membership's only about 30 people.
Right.
With probably only sort of 7 or 8 active members. So we're probably not the best example to use for getting involved in those sort of things. We did actually do a shipwreck walk for Heritage Week, which was on the New South Wales Heritage Week, which was on about a month ago. So it's possible we might do something like that in Family History Month. but we haven't got anything organised at the moment. But we have got a meeting on our monthly meeting on Monday, so it's possible we may discuss something there.
I do hope you do something. Now, I'm trying screen share again. Can you tell me if you can actually see that?
We can't even see you, Jill.
Oh, you can't even. I'm still the avatar. Okay, fair enough. It's the stormy weather outside.
Right.
You wouldn't believe I live in a big city with 5 million people, but I live on the edge of it, and internet is dodgy. National Family History Month has a website. On that website are lots and lots of events. They're organised by state and then by postcode. Many of these events are free. I'd venture to say most of them are free. So I'd encourage anyone who's down under to take a look at, just put National Family History Month into Google and you'll be taken straight to the site. And you'll find lots to amuse yourself. I'm certainly going to be a little bit busy that month too. I'm rather excited about it, but I must tell you what gets up my nose, because things get up my nose. There are 3 large local library services sort of around where I live, 3, and none of them are hosting an event for National Family History Month. So I'm just going to say the Hills Council, Hornsby Council and Ku-ring-gai Council Library Services, I think you need to get your act together. Ooh, that's a bit mean. Now, Sandy and Hilary, I haven't been speaking with you, but I'm going to speak about family search. Are either of you family search indexes?
I have just started.
So have I. How have you found it?
Well, it's different. I've been doing index for my state genealogical society for our Illinois marriage records, our early marriage records. And I have been doing some indexing for the Daughters of the American Revolution. And I have also did a little indexing for Ancestry.com. And family search is different from any of those, and they are all different from each other. It just depends, I think, on the company or the agency that's doing it.
I've been doing a little bit, and dear Myrtle on one of her hangouts, I don't know if either of you watched it. Hilary may have, although the time mightn't have been good. It was one of the Wacky Wednesday ones, I think. Talked about family search indexing, and I've always balked at doing it because my typing skills are punk. But look, Mert demonstrated it and made it look so easy. I thought, oh gosh, in for a penny, in for a pound, Jill will have a go. So I think that was about a fortnight ago that Mert taught us how to index for family search. So Jill logged in and she's done about 375 whatevers now, records. Yeah, 375 records in so many batches. I forget how many batches they are. They're batches and there's records and that. And some of them have been very, very easy and some of them have been so hard. And I'm doing the beginner level. And they keep
easy
giving me...
is easy and hard is, oh my God.
But I'm doing... They're a degree of difficulty from 1 through to I don't know what. I'm on 1 and oh my heavens. There's not much available in English, so I've been doing this stuff for the Philippines. Well, I haven't got a clue about Spanish-based names, and some of them, the handwriting's been, oh my God, horrific. Some I did were Mississippi school records, and they were lovely because they were all typed. I think they gave, the first few they give you are very, very easy. And that's what these, Sandy?
I agree. I mean, it's...
I agree. Sandy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did some of the typed ones, and I've been doing some of the obituaries that have obviously been put in some of the newspapers in the US, because there was the only English one I could find was a parish record, and when I brought one of it up, it had it was one of the really old parish things, because some of them go back to about 1500 and something, and I think looking at, I had difficulty reading it, and also I'm sure it was written in Latin, because I just really had problems with it. So I ended up returning that batch. I've done about 10 batches since, other than that one. So I'm on intermediate, and the intermediate, some of the intermediate ones I think it must be easier depending on where they are. Because if you're using some of the, if you're doing some of them that are more recent ones, because they're doing a lot of obituaries that are recent ones, you can actually read them, usually most of them, quite easily, I find.
Well, there's a tip for me. I might go up to degree of difficulty 3, because I don't know if any of you are taking part, but I just thought I would mention that the Family Search are having an international indexing challenge, and I was going to screen share that page as well, but unfortunately, seeing as my video's dodgy, I won't do that, but a Google search will find that for you, and I believe it starts, I think, on the 21st of July. If I brought my browser up, I could look at it. 21st of July. Family Search announces, yep, 6 p.m. Mountain Time on July the 21st.
I think it's
I am -6 GMT is where I'm at.
Yeah, it's
Greenwich Mean Time.
1 o'clock.
Yeah,
well, whenever it's around the 20th, the 21st.
Mountain should be -7 and Pacific should be -8.
Right, whatever. And we're a day ahead of you in Australia, so it's happening the next day in Australia. And so for 24 hours, they're hoping that to break a record that was previously set, where they had 49,000 indexes do a batch each in a single day. So if you have ever index for Family Search, perhaps you might like to try your luck on that day and become part of the record-making crowd. I just hope to goodness they've got some stuff for beginners and stuff that's in the English language. There's all this indexing to do, and it's like Polish and Russian, and some of it's actually in the Cyrillic alphabet. No.
Well,
I'd have as much
doing
luck,
Bibles. I'm doing Bibles.
Oh, yeah.
For the Daughters of the American Revolution, and oh my goodness, you would think they were in foreign languages. I mean, you really have to kind of figure out, first of all, what, you know, I start out with the alphabet, literally A, B, C, D on through, and look at the document and try to figure out how they're writing the letters. And of course, F as in Frank are used instead of S as in Sam. Plus there's a few others that make you go, oh my goodness, what are they saying here? It's supposed to be English, but you know, it's really a guess at some of it.
So yeah, that's going. It's a bit of a challenge anyhow. It's something new, and I just find it convenient because it's a way we can volunteer without walking out the door, and you know, when you don't have to commit yourself to, I'll be in the society rooms every Thursday afternoon from 1 till 6 or something. It's, you know, something you can do in your own time. So I think it's rather good. And of course, Hilary mentioned our friend Mert. In conjunction with this indexing, is having a super duper hangout. Do you think you'll be able to take part in some of the 24-hour hangout that Mert's having, Hilary?
Yeah, I'm planning. I might try and join sort of first thing in the morning before I go to work for a little bit, and then join when I get back from work, because you just get myself organised to get up early enough to go like this sort of time in the morning to join in and then go off to work and come back at the end of the day. So yeah.
Yeah, Mert's calling it a genius sleepover, and suggesting people have their fluffy slippers. Being from Australia, of course, I might have my Ugg boots on. I've got hot pink Ugg boots, so I think they'd be appropriate. But that'll be fun, having a 24-hour hangout anyway, where people can just hop in and out at will, and maybe they can, I don't know, screen share the issues they're having with their family search indexing. That'd be a good idea. I don't know what Mert's got planned, but anyway, a search for Dear Myrtle and Genius Sleepover on Google will no doubt bring up details of that event. So if you're a regular
can I just
someone can say something.
It's Hillary. I just
it's Hillary.
Yeah. On Mondays with Mert, on this coming Monday, she just mentioned what she was going to do, because she can't have a full 24-hour hangout. She has to have like, I think the maximum they can have is 8 hours. So she's got plans for 8-hour hangouts, but she's got a spare one as well in case they have problems, and they also might have problems in terms of the comments in the community, because you can only have up to 500 comments, and so they might run out of comments, in which case they might swap over to another hangout. So it's probably going to be a series of hangouts rather than one continuous hangout. But if you watch the timestamps Mondays with Mert, there are bits where she mentions what she's going to do. So it's worth having a look on that.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mondays with Mert is always like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning here, and it's too early for me to get up early, and it's too late for me to stay up late. Except I did stay up and watch Wimbledon, I must say. Anyway, so that's that. So. Hangout on Air, Family Search Indexing Challenge, crowdsourcing. Let's make it work. Just while we're on Family Search, I haven't tried it because I only found evidence of it yesterday. There's a new Android app for Family Search Family Tree. I've downloaded it onto my toy. Oh, I'm showing you my toy, but if you're looking at my avatar, you can't see my toy. I've downloaded it, but I haven't played with it. So if you're an Android or an I person and you want to try it out, it's available in the Play Store for Google, or the wherever you get your I stuff from. You know what it's called, you Apple people.
Not an Apple person here. No.
Oh, no, well, I'm a bit allergic to Apple, so that's what happens.
Android only.
Yeah, that's Android's my middle name. Yep. so that's good. Michelle, are you Apple?
Yeah.
No, I thought you might be.
I'm feeling a bit picked on now.
Oh dear, that's funny. Now, feel free if you've got something new you want to tell us about. I've got a few more things I was going to just bring up.
I have a question for you, lady.
Yeah, go for it.
What would you use as a source? Would you look in England, or would you look in Australia, or where would you look for the ships of the convicts that came to Australia?
What do you want? Do you want the journal? What would you like to know?
I'd like to know which, if any, and which plunkets arrived in Australia.
Okay, there are a couple. Michelle, do you want to start?
I can
wonder if
give
your
some examples.
screen share works. Yeah.
That convicts are a big thing in Australian family history, so there's not just one site. There's any number of sites where you can look. There's probably, if it was me, I would start with the New South Wales Records website, which has got
New South Wales what?
Public records, state records.
Record. It's called State Records New South Wales.
they've got a lot of they hold the actual original documents, but they've got a lot of those documents indexed. A lot of that's been done by volunteers as well as their staff, where you can search by name or ship. That's a free resource, so that one's good if you don't want to spend any money to start with. Some of those records are also available on Ancestry, but you'd probably need the Australian or British subscription or a world subscription to get those.
Well, I have worldwide, but maybe I'm not, putting the right things in, because, I mean, there was a book written by an Ivy Plunkett called 10,000 Plunkets.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Well, I'm in that book. Way in the back. No. So there have been so many of them. I know some of them had to go to Australia. I mean, just
right. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I've had them die in Barbados on the slave ships, or somehow they were being ported over here somehow and died there. And so, I mean, I know they all weren't dukes and martyrs and such, you know. We all have the black sheep of the families.
Oh,
so I'm sure some of them got to Australia.
So did they started in England, not in Ireland? The Plunketts are from England.
They actually started in Ireland.
Okay, there's one database that the Irish have, and I think you can get it on the archive site. They gave to Australia an index of all convicts, Irish convicts who came to Australia. So that's another place you can search for Irish ones. But as Michelle said, State Records New South Wales is wonderful starting point.
Yeah, if you just go to one, it's just called the Convict Index. If you do a keyword search on there, and I've just done a quick look, and there are about 15 Plunketts. So there's definitely something there to have a look at.
Thank you.
Then you can follow up and look for marriages and deaths in the New South Wales indexes I've been talking about.
Got that written down.
But also, the National Archives in the UK have a lot of convict records too. So the convicts got sent from the UK, so there are records in the UK, and they arrived in Australia, so there are records in Australia. I have sat in the National Archives in the UK, and I have held in my little hands the surgeons' journals from some of those convict ships, and I was able to read in the surgeon's handwriting where my great-great-great-great-grandfather was treated for scurvy and was treated for scurvy again, where another one of my great-great-great-great-grandfathers was punished, was whipped or something. That was a different surgeon's journal. So the National Archives in the UK have now got in their Discovery catalogue a great keyword index. Oh, well, they've always had a good index, but they've got a real push on indexing the names in their records at the moment. So I don't know how much indexing they've done of convict names, but I wouldn't. I'd hop over to the Discovery catalogue of the National Archives at Kew and just do a search for Plunkett and see what you might come up. I was in England about 5 weeks ago, and I was able to find out something about one of my convicts, and I just typed in his name, Tucker, and the town he came from, Datchet. Oh, the surgeon's journals are on Ancestry, says Michelle. There you go. You can't hold them.
No, but you can read them, and they're really they're new scans, and they're really good. But they're a little bit hard to find because they're not listed as a convict record. They're listed under the British Naval Records. And
so there you go.
It's the same ones that are on the ARC, which I can't remember what that stands for.
Archives Resource Kit. Yep.
They're new scans, so they're nice colour scans, really easy to read.
Crisp.
Well, I
Yeah.
have
There you
found
go.
that sometimes when I am on Google and I'm searching stuff, I click on it and it takes me to an Ancestry site that's in another country, and it automatically logs me in. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. I have automatic logins, and it
Yeah.
picked up as Ancestry, and it has logged me into a German Ancestry site.
Mm.
It has logged me into a England Ancestry
Yeah.
site
Yeah. Well,
because the
I've got the
URL is
world's.
different.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got the world subscription,
Mm-hmm.
and
Me
I've
too.
got the American one because it's cheap. No, that's fine. My past, scratch that. But yeah, it logs
Okay.
me in. It just knows my login details and logs
Yeah.
me into the
Mm-hmm.
appropriate one. Yeah. Yeah. Another good site is called Claim a Convict. It's done by a mate of ours called Jonathan Auld, and he's indexing lots and lots of convict stuff. And then also there's one in Queensland. I think it's a state library. Can you remember, Michelle? It's got a
I
full
know the one
listing of
you're talking about. I was going to mention it, but I can't remember what it's called.
It's called. Anyhow, I think you've got a bit of a start for plunkets. Is it a
Absolutely.
one name study you're doing?
No, not on the plunkets. They're too prolific. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm doing a one-name study on the name Karamblet, Cramblitt, variations of the I's or the
Whatever.
E's, and there's only 4 of them in the United States in the 1790 census, so thank God for that. I mean,
Yeah.
if you look up plunkets, I mean, there's hundreds
Yeah.
of them, but
That's right.
my genealogy search has been sort of bizarre in that my mother and father, who were born in 1901 and 1909, did not have family stories to tell. They would not tell them whatever they were. The only thing I was brought up to believe that I was second-generation American, which is so far from the truth, it's not even funny. Now, their stories were totally wrong. They were just off a couple hundred years. But I have found, I just joined the Lancaster, Pennsylvania Society tonight because they've got about half of my tree, over there in Pennsylvania back far enough. Because a lot of my crowd came over from Germany, the Palinate, or they were French, or they were Swedish, or they could have been of any nationality during the wars and moving around and the religious persecution. They were Anabaptists. So I have a big bunch from that
From there.
era and area.
Okay. Good. This is all good. Now, I just wanted to mention RootsTech, because I missed RootsTech this year because I was on the high seas, and I'm very excited because I'm going to meet Hillary. She's thinking about going to RootsTech this year, but it's less than 6 months. And it'll come around before we know it. I've already booked my aeroplane ride from Australia, and I've booked my hotel in Salt Lake City. But I just wanted to suggest to people that if they're going to RootsTech, to turn up a couple of days early so that you can use the library. The library's closed on a Sunday, so you might decide to arrive on Sunday evening. So you're ready, fresh on Monday morning to hit the library. I didn't go last year. I went the 3 years prior to that. And we had a really fun evening on the Monday with only about 15 people. I just organised an informal get-together for Australians and New Zealanders and anyone else who wanted to see these strange creatures from below the equator. So I think I'll do that again for the Monday night. So if you're organising your travel and you decide to arrive on or before the Monday, let me know and we'll pick a spot. I think we went, it wasn't the Cheesecake Factory, that was too crowded. Oh, one of those American chains we went to, and we had a great feed. And I think people like Audrey Collins from England came, and Roger Moffat, who's sort of a New Zealander, but he lives, does he live in Illinois, I think, Roger Moffat? He came along because he's curious, you know, he wanted to meet other curious people, so that was good. So that was just a suggestion. Hilary, I don't know what time you've put in for off work, but people tend to come to RootsTech early and leave pretty much straight after the event. So if you're wanting to do some bonding and get in a full 6 days worth of family history library as well as the conference, it's good to get yourself there on the Monday, and you can do the library sort of Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday.
I
and then
spent a week in December last year just in the library. It was I enjoyed it very much, and I would recommend everybody, if they get a chance, to use the library there, because it just has all kinds of things and plenty of people to help you.
It's got an amazing collection of even print resources for Australia. Go figure. You know, really, really good collection. So, and of course, having those films all there in those great big drawers, all the money saving that, you know, and it's instant gratification once you find what you want on the film.
Translators for stuff that's in different languages. You take it to them and they will translate it for you.
Oh, wow. That is, I didn't know that.
I had to do that for German stuff that I found. I found, you know, a whole German thing, and I went to the 3rd floor and I said, you know, sprechen Sie Deutsch, somebody, you know, I mean, I need to find somebody that can read and, you know, this German. And she was elderly, and she said, you know, she was looking at it and she goes, they kept their grocery list in here. Yeah, I mean, she was just a wealth of information to translate the stuff.
Oh, isn't that fantastic? Yeah. So I don't know. Hilary, have you been to Salt Lake City before?
I haven't been to the US before. I've been to Canada.
Oh, wow.
The US. I'm hoping to visit family as well. That's the only thing. I'm hoping, I've got family living in Los Angeles, so I'm hoping to go and see them before RootsTech. Then go to RootsTech. And my family that live in near Memphis, they said I can go and see them. So I might, on the way back, I might pop in and see my family in Memphis. That live near Memphis.
Oh, wonderful.
Well, I drove here to Memphis before. It's a 5-hour quick drive down the interstate to the best barbecue in the United States in Memphis.
I haven't been to Memphis, but I know Tennessee have got some wonderful records for free on the internet, because I found a branch of our Scottish Gowans family in the Tennessee records. I should go there and try and find these people.
My family that live in the States did actually used to live in Illinois. I don't know if they're actually from there originally, but they're related, because my aunt is my dad's sister. Married a GI when he was over he married at the end of the Second World War, and then she emigrated. So they've got a lot of. They'll have their American ancestry, but they've also got their British
I live in the town that has the state archive, the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library, the state library, and I can get you about any records you need from Illinois.
I need to do them a quick see with them if what they know, because obviously I've got some information, but whether it's correct or not is difficult for me to say, because it's not my ancestors. So
in Illinois, it is the Secretary of State who maintains the records, and it's called CyberDrive. CyberDrive. And they have all the Civil War records. We weren't around in the Revolutionary War. the Civil War records, early marriage records, death records. They have a death index. They have all the indexes for Illinois records just about at CyberDrive Illinois.
Fantastic. Now I'm going to move on to something because there's 10 minutes to go. I'm just looking at my clock. I just wanted to tell people, when I was away, I had sort of mentioned to Alan Phillips, who runs Unlock the Past Cruises, that, oh yeah, I'll go on the 6th cruise in October. That's just a short cruise out of Sydney. It goes for just a 3-night cruise taster, I suppose, but it's 2 full days and a bit of genealogy conference. And I'd mentioned to him before I went overseas that, oh yeah, I'll go on this cruise. And I looked at the provisional program while I was away, and there was my name. I thought, oh, okay, Alan must think I'm going. I said I'd go. So I spoke with him on the phone this week, and we've sort of confirmed now that I'm going on the next Unlock the Past cruise with, I think there's Carol Riley, who's a New South Wales expert, Shauna Hicks, who's going to be the Queensland and Victorian expert, and Kathy Dunn, who's a Norfolk Island expert and convict expert. So we'll be learning about convicts and about records from the eastern states, and I'll do a little bit of technology. And Carol Riley, she's doing New South Wales, and she'll talk about land records. So if you're looking for a genealogy hit, there you go. The cruise is on about the 22nd, I think, of October. So I'd love to see some of your Hangout people there. And we'll be doing some video interviews for Unlock the Past and try and hang out from the ship. But the internet on the ship's dodgy too, and expensive. So we'll see how we go. But what I read, and I'm so excited about, is that Judy G. Russell, the legal genealogist, is actually going to be on one of the cruises. It's in January 2016, so it's about an 18-day cruise, and it starts in New Zealand and goes all the way to Western Australia, and Judy is going to be the key main, tap dancing speaker. And having watched the tapes of her performances at RootsTech last year, I think, oh wow, that will be so good. So Australians or people in the United States or wherever who want to get a hit of Judy G. Russell, if you head below the equator, you'll be able to see about 18 days worth of Judy G. Russell stuff. So
I'm
that's
about
something
2
really
days of all-day driving to get to any place that would have a ship.
Well, you've got to catch an aeroplane to get to New Zealand to get on the ship first.
That's right. Yeah, that'd be about a 6-hour ride even in an airplane.
Yeah. Oh, it's a long ride. It's a lot more than 6 hours. Now, just before Hillary, is there anything you want to tell us about? Any news from the UK? Anything you've done recently that's fabulous? Any wonderful finds you've had? Got anything to tell us?
No. I mean,
no.
Have they got? I know they've got one of the Unlock the Past cruises over here. Started over here.
It's going in about a week's.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's happening in about a week's time.
Yeah. I knew I couldn't make this year's one. I know I was looking at next year's, but if I'm going to RootsTech, I probably won't manage to.
You can't do both.
I would have liked to go on next year's because it's going from Southampton, which is my hometown. So I would have loved to go on there because I could, especially if there's people that I know that I could sort of introduce them to my hometown. It would be so nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's some good speakers on that too. I can't remember who they are. I think Paul Milner from Chicago's going. I can't, as one of the main speakers. I can't remember who else. Yeah, but you can only do what you can do. Actually, because we've got our state conference on in New South Wales coming up in a couple of weeks, and I can't go to everything. And I looked at the program and I thought, oh, it's not really, doesn't. What's on the program is very local to that area. It doesn't fit in so much with my interests, and I'm going on the cruise I can't do both, so I'm going on the cruise instead of the state conference.
Well, we have state conferences here. You know, the
Yeah.
Midwestern Roots is going on here in a couple of weeks over in Indiana. The Missouri State Conference actually looks more appealing to what I'm looking for than what the Indiana one does. And that's one thing that I think is pretty nice. I mean, Iowa has one, Kansas has one. We have in Missouri, the next state over, the Midwest Genealogical Library. It's, you know, a big library. Over in Indiana, the other way, there's the Allen County Library.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, these are renowned genealogical libraries that, you know, you just don't drive to and drop in because you'd have to stay a week. I mean, you know, to look at all their stuff. I mean, it's like going to the Family Search Library in many ways.
Yeah, well, you're so lucky because you've got such a big population base. There are so few of us down under. I mean, our population's only 24, 25 million, you know, and that's sort of Greater Los Angeles or something, I don't know, or at least San Diego.
Well, I'm only in a town of 130,000. I'll stay here. Thank you.
But it's wonderful. That's why I like going to RootsTech, because there's such a breadth, you know, or breadth and depth of you know, things on offer, whereas we just haven't got the facilities here. And speaking of which, I just wanted to say that something I had arrive in the mail from the United States this week. I've been, you can see behind, oh no, you can't see, but behind me are some photo albums. And I've been going to pull my photos out of photo albums, and I've been looking for ages for acid-free boxes that hold, you know, shoebox size to put photos in, and I haven't been able to get them in Australia. So I bit the bullet and bought some, and they're really good. They're called Pioneer photo boxes, and I got them from B&H in New York, where I buy stuff when I go to America anyway, but they post them to Australia. The bad news is that the boxes cost me $30 for 6, and the postage cost me $61, but I couldn't get them in Australia. So, but if you've got your photos in photo albums and they're not acid-free, perhaps it's time to take them out. And if you're lucky enough to be in the United States, you can buy them boxes for about $5, and they're quite nice, sturdy, shoeboxy type things. And my photos will be safe because they're all acid-free. So for those in Australia, if you're looking, you can get them posted out, but there's a bit of a cost involved. But it's worth it. Yeah.
I wonder what they we over here we've got a few genealogical suppliers of archive materials. Because there's my history.
Yeah, I looked before I went over. Yeah, but I couldn't find any of that shoeboxy shape. I could find lots of other shapes, but I wanted the shoeboxy shape that I could sort of put the photos in, sort of standing up. Yeah, anyhow, I found these. They're probably available in the UK.
I'm also hoping to go to Who Do You Think You Are Live next year, because they've moved it. They've moved it to Birmingham. And because they've moved it to Birmingham, I should definitely be able to go, because I can get on the train from here and get a train down to Birmingham, straight down there. So I'm definitely going to go.
Yes.
I don't know which day yet, but I'm definitely going. And if I find anything of interest, I will report back, and I'm going to put a video blog or something on my
lovely
a written entry on my blog, definitely.
Because I think that's cruelled the plans of a few Australians, because it's now a bit later than it was. And I know some Australians were planning to go to RootsTech and then across to Who Do You Think You Are Live, and then of course that's been moved. It's in March now, is it?
April. Because I was going to.
April.
As soon as I decided that it was going to be in April, I decided, right, I'm going to RootsTech, and then I can go to Who Do You Think You Are in April, because they're separate times for me to go. So.
Oh, you're lucky person. That's wonderful. Well, do you know what? I'm going to ask Michelle if she's got a final word. Michelle, have you got something, a final word?
Just a thing about something that might be worth keeping an eye out for the Australians is that
Yes.
about a month ago, Tony Robinson was in Australia doing filming a new series called Tour of Duty, which is focusing on getting local stories about Australia's involvement in war. So he was in Newcastle for a day. The thing that I really liked about it was that they actually went to no capital cities. Everything was filmed in a regional centre.
Fantastic.
So Newcastle, Ballarat, places like that. I can't remember if it was Ballarat or Bendigo, but you get the idea, sort of. So it was really good, and it was very much focused on personal stories and things like that. So I went there for the whole day and fangirled a little bit and met Tony at the end and got my photo taken. But I think some of the stories that we heard during the day were really interesting, and it wasn't just focusing on fighting and soldiers, but there was a lot of information about the home front and communities. And for example, I'm sure they'll do something for Newcastle about getting bombed by the Japanese in World War II. So just something. It was on film for Foxtel, so if you've got Foxtel, it might be just something to keep an eye out for. So he was in Australia for about a month filming that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sure you'll put it out on social media, won't you, Michelle? Because you're great on social media.
Definitely, as soon as I find out when it's on.
All right. Well, do you know, that's great. Thank you. We have just passed the hour, so I guess I should bring this to a close. I'm going to have another hangout on air, try and squeeze one in before National Family History Month, probably on about July the 29th. And, I can't think of a topic, but something will come up, or we'll have a potpourri like we have had today. And then on the 4th of August, I'm having a National Family History Month one, which I hope people will join in and tell us what they're doing, or what they've planned, or what they've learned already after 4 days of National History Month. So I just want to say thank you to the people from Wales, Illinois, Stockton, Newcastle, for joining me today, and say that's all, folks.